move into the reality of the place you're at, and then to show you that politics, even as far back as you want to go, is contrived. There's a power in the room. There's a cat in the hat. And that's a spiritual power, and that's the power of the fallen one. That would be the false light. Now, salvation through His grace alone is through Jesus Christ. Through grace alone, zero works. It means come as you are. Period. Let no man get between you and Jesus Christ. Nothing that you do or doing is going to have Him forsake you. So just call on Him, and that's that. All right, enough of preaching. Back to the video. If you take a look at the hat sequence that I put together, it's very important that you keep an eye on the power structure. You have the so-called American power giving up to the so-called bear. That would be the eagle giving power to the bear, and then you see the hat on the bear, which you can see they're just acting. It's like a laugh-in skit. But then you will see the hat move to a man on the right, and that's the man in the hat. That's the unseen power. And then I'll go ahead and I've added into this one a Declaration of Independence, the signing of the video of that, or not the video, but the painting of that. And you will see, I'll highlight a place where you'll see the same man in the hat in time. He's there as well. And just go to Wiki and look that up, and you can see that. Now, what's very interesting is you're going to see two very distinct hand signs in the Declaration of Independence painting, the original. A lot of the knockoffs, those hand signs, are not illustrated, so you will need to find the one that's on Wiki. All right, it needs to be an original. All right, so we'll talk to you later. Enjoy. Have a great time. Yes, please turn off your cell phones. Watch in 1080p or 720 HD at least, and enjoy. Oh, and before I leave, the reason I zoom in on the lady at the end, that's that Pomfrey lady. That's the lady that they said hung herself, if you recall. Back, she was supposed to be some madam. That was all a hoax. Remember Art Bell interviewed her the night before. You're not going to hang yourself, right? And of course she won. Hoax. Later.
Good evening. For 4 days now, some of the 20th century's most extraordinary diplomatic maneuvers have been taking place in Moscow. Vice President Richard Nixon and Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev play the rules of polite diplomacy, it would seem, and are engaging in rough and tumble which range from rockets, communism and capitalism, war and freedom, to the kitchen sink. The words sound fierce and harsh, as if they might increase international tension in the world into a new Cold War.
I wouldn't back down now if my life depended on it.
New York City was shrouded in a smothering blanket of fog when scores of people heard a low-flying plane heading south. Then an explosion. An Army farmer lost in the overcast had crashed into the towering Empire State Building. Parts of it blasting completely through.
The Empire State Building, like all New York, was hidden by fog as a Mitchell bomber trying to reach Newark Airport crashed into the tallest structure in the world. 13 died, including the crew members, 2 Army men and a Navy hitchhiker. What happened will never be known, for the flyers in the crash are all dead, and eyewitness accounts vary. One thing is certain, the pilot was off the radio beam. The 79th floor was hardest hit by the crash. Some people thought it was a Jap balloon bomb. Firemen had to drag their hoses 11 stories to reach the flames on the 79th floor, as many elevators were knocked out of order. Paul Deering was blown from his office as the plane crashed. Disaster units organized in wartime were quick to respond to aid the wounded.
Disaster that country's history. The disaster on 34th Street.
Suddenly, it has become as much a part of 20th century life as the whir of your vacuum cleaner. It's a report from man's farthest frontier, radio signal transmitted by the Soviet Sputnik, the first man-made satellite as it passed over New York earlier today.
There are some instances where you may be ahead of us. For example, in the development of your rockets. But in order for both of us to benefit, you see, you never concede anything.
In what are they ahead of us? Wrong. I share the enthusiasm of Soviet engineers about the cleverness of the American people, but we too, as for 42 years we have gone ahead in our nostrils. No, don't kill flies with our nostrils. For 42 years we have gone ahead. For 42 years we have gone ahead, and when we shall overtake you at the crossroads, we shall wave at you.
I'm not sure, I said, if I'm capable of killing you. Try me, he said.
For example, it's deadly.
This coffee is criminal.
Honey, you killed the petunias.
Then you admit it. Your coffee really is murder.
Papa eating my coffee, it's murder.
Folgers, mountain grown for richer flavor.
Well, all right.
You know it's a crime.
Maybe we loved cinema so much we annihilated it, I ventured. It's possible, we concurred.
There it was, another post-war wonder right before your eyes.
This, Mr. Khrushchev, is the
Television.
one of the most advanced developments in communication that we have, at least in our... This very conversation immediately. And this increase in communication will teach us some things, and it will teach you some things, too.
If I don't know everything, then I would say that you know absolutely nothing about communism. Nothing except fear.
You're making a fool of yourself. You think so? Do you really think so? Honestly and truly, is that what you think? Yes, that's what I think. Well, Sheriff, the laugh's on you. When word gets out that your deputy, an ex-best friend, has been jailed for a minor offense, you'll be the fool.
Your mind's really made up, huh?
I wouldn't back down now if my life depended on it.
I felt my own reality slipping away. Felt that I risked becoming no more than a character in someone else's film. I decided to accept the situation and to play along with it, sensing that a failure to do so could prove catastrophic.
There it was. Another post-war wonder right before your eyes.
This, Mr. Khrushchev, is
Television.
one of the most advanced developments in communication that we have, at least in our country.
Good evening, television consumers. This misty bit of ectoplasm forming on the inside of your television screen is one Alfred Hitchcock.